Have you ever met someone whose energy feels completely unpredictable? Someone who constantly surprises you with their actions, thoughts, and emotions, making you wonder what makes them so different. If you've ever encountered a Sagittarius, you know exactly what I mean. This zodiac sign, ruled by Jupiter, is known for its adventurous spirit, thirst for freedom, and, let's be honest, some pretty strange traits that leave people wondering if they've ever truly understood them. But what is it about Sagittarius that makes them stand out from the crowd? What makes them seem so mysterious? In today's video, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of Sagittarius and uncovering the unexpected characteristics that might just make them the most interesting, and yes, sometimes the weirdest, sign of the zodiac. From their need for independence to their emotional intensity, there's so much about them that will truly surprise you. And trust me, the trait we reveal at number 3 will completely change the way you think about this fiery sign. Before we get started, take a moment to share your zodiac sign and birth date in the comments below. I love reading through them and engaging with you all. And if you're new to our peaceful space, don't forget to subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life so you don't miss out on more enlightening content like this. We explore the hidden depths of the zodiac, psychology, and personal growth, so make sure you hit that notification bell to stay connected. Now, let's begin the journey into the enigmatic world of Sagittarius and discover the strange, beautiful qualities that make them so uniquely fascinating. Stay tuned, this is going to be an eye-opening ride. 1. Sagittarius reacts strongly to how they are treated. Have you ever tried to understand a Sagittarius only to feel like you're walking on eggshells? One of the most distinctive and sometimes confusing traits of Sagittarius is their intense reaction to how others treat them. This isn't a sign that just lets things slide, far from it. Whether it's a slight, a compliment, or even a neutral comment, Sagittarius feels deeply and responds accordingly. Their emotions can run high, and their reactions often feel unpredictable, making them appear erratic or even impulsive. Why does this happen? Astrologically speaking, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion and growth, but also one of excess. When Sagittarius feels disrespected, they will not hesitate to voice their displeasure. However, this reaction isn't always rooted in logic or reason. It's often a direct manifestation of their inner emotional state. Their emotional sensitivity means they will react to something that others might consider trivial, sometimes leading to overreactions that seem out of proportion. For example, imagine a Sagittarius in a work setting. If a colleague makes a small sarcastic comment, they may respond with much more intensity than expected, leaving others wondering why they're so upset. To an outsider, it may seem irrational. To a Sagittarius, however, it's a deeply felt reaction that speaks to their desire for respect and fairness. This emotional volatility comes from the need for honesty and transparency. Sagittarius doesn't like to mask their emotions. If they feel something, they express it, often loudly and unapologetically. And while this can create moments of tension, it's also one of the most genuine things about them. They won't play mind games or pretend things don't bother them, they feel deeply, and they let it be known. How can you understand and work with this? If you find yourself interacting with a Sagittarius, it's important to respect their need for emotional honesty. If they react strongly to something, rather than dismissing it, try to understand the emotional context behind their response. Don't take it personally, Sagittarius simply needs to feel understood. Allow them the space to express their emotions, and they'll likely calm down quickly once they feel heard. However, remember that once they've voiced their emotions, they're ready to move on. Holding on to grudges or bringing up past issues will only frustrate them further. 2. The Archer loves complete autonomy. Sagittarius values freedom like no other zodiac sign. To them, independence isn't just a preference, it's a fundamental need that defines their very being. While other signs might prefer stability and structure, Sagittarius thrives in environments that allow them to roam freely and make their own choices without being bogged down by rules or expectations. This burning desire for autonomy can make them seem stubborn, unpredictable, and at times even rebellious. The desire for freedom. The need for freedom isn't just a superficial trait for Sagittarius. It runs deep, often manifesting in their personal relationships, career choices, and even daily routines. In relationships, a Sagittarius might resist traditional forms of commitment, preferring instead to keep things flexible and open. This can be challenging for partners who are looking for stability and security, as Sagittarius can sometimes seem emotionally distant or elusive. In their careers, Sagittarius may feel stifled in roles that have rigid structures or long-term commitments. They are not afraid to take risks or change paths, as they are constantly seeking new experiences and adventures. The traditional 9-to-5 work schedule? Not for them. They'd rather be their own boss or work in an environment that encourages creativity and independent thinking. Why does this happen? The Archer's need for freedom can be traced back to their astrological ruler, Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and exploration, which aligns perfectly with Sagittarius's desire to seek out new horizons, whether they're physical, intellectual, or emotional. They're natural explorers who feel suffocated by routine and stability. For them, life is about continuous growth, both personally and professionally. And that growth requires space to breathe. How can you navigate this trait? If you're close to a Sagittarius, you must give them the freedom they crave. This doesn't mean they're not capable of commitment or loyalty, but they need to have the space to pursue their individual passions and goals. If you try to tie them down too much or impose too many restrictions, they'll likely pull away. Instead, create an environment where they can feel free to explore, try new things, and grow as individuals. In relationships, it's also important to let a Sagittarius know that their need for independence is understood and respected. Encouraging their personal growth, rather than making them feel guilty for wanting space, will help build a stronger, more lasting connection. 3. Emotional intensity, the roller coaster ride. When it comes to emotions, Sagittarius is anything but predictable. Their emotional intensity can catch people off guard, as they experience their feelings in extreme highs and lows. One moment, they may be exuberantly joyful, and the next, they could spiral into frustration or anger. This can make it difficult for others to keep up with them emotionally. The emotional roller coaster. Sagittarius doesn't always show their emotions in a calm, controlled way. When something strikes a nerve, their reactions are often swift and powerful. For instance, a minor argument could turn into a passionate discussion or even an outburst. And a joyful event could send them into an emotional high, leaving others feeling overwhelmed. This emotional intensity can make Sagittarius seem like they're on a constant emotional roller coaster. And this unpredictability can be a challenge for people who are more stable or reserved in their emotional responses. Why does this happen? The reason for this emotional volatility lies in Sagittarius's connection to Jupiter, the planet of extremes. Jupiter doesn't do anything halfway, it amplifies everything, from the good to the bad. So, when Sagittarius experiences an emotion, they feel it deeply and intensely. This can be both a gift and a curse. On the positive side, it allows them to experience the world in full color. Joy, excitement, love, and passion are all amplified. On the negative side, it means their emotional responses can sometimes seem disproportionate to the situation. How can you manage their emotional intensity? If you find yourself interacting with a Sagittarius, it's important to understand that their emotional outbursts are usually not personal, they're simply feeling deeply at that moment. Give them space to express their emotions, but also help them navigate these intense feelings by offering calm, measured responses. It's also helpful to acknowledge their emotions without trying to downplay or dismiss them. A Sagittarius needs to feel understood and validated, even if their emotional reactions seem exaggerated. For Sagittarius communicates through gestures, not just words. Another intriguing trait of Sagittarius is their unique communication style. While many people express their thoughts and feelings verbally, Sagittarius often relies more on gestures, body language, and nonverbal cues to communicate. This can make them appear more mysterious or even aloof, as they don't always articulate their emotions or intentions in clear, direct ways. Nonverbal communication. A Sagittarius may not need to speak to express what they're feeling. A simple glance, a gesture, or a body movement can convey an entire message. For example, they might not say much when they're upset, but their posture or the way they move can say it all. This reliance on body language creates an aura of mystery around them, as people may find it hard to interpret what they're thinking or feeling. Why does this happen? Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign, meaning they are naturally adaptable and spontaneous. They often prefer to let their actions speak for themselves rather than engage in long-winded conversations. This also relates to their love of freedom. They may feel restricted by verbal communication or find it difficult to express themselves fully with just words. Their reliance on body language is simply another way for them to communicate in a manner that feels more authentic and less confined by the limitations of speech. How can you work with this? If you're close to a Sagittarius, it's important to be attuned to their nonverbal cues. Watch how they move, how they position themselves, and the small gestures they make. These often speak louder than words and can give you insight into their true feelings. Likewise, try to be more conscious of your own body language when communicating with them. Understanding their subtle communication style will help you connect with them on a deeper level. 5. The Sagittarius appetite for new experiences. One of the defining traits of Sagittarius is their constant hunger for new experiences. Whether it's a new adventure, a fresh perspective, or a new skill to learn, they are always looking for something new. This constant drive for novelty can make them seem restless or even chaotic to others who are more content with the familiar. The thirst for adventure. Sagittarius lives for the thrill of discovery. They are natural explorers, both in the physical world and the intellectual realm. This makes them fascinating companions for those who share their love for adventure. A Sagittarius might plan a spontaneous trip to a foreign country, or they could immerse themselves in a new philosophical idea that sparks their interest. They are always searching for the next big adventure, whether it's an adrenaline rush or a life-changing experience. Why does this happen? As a fire sign ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius thrives on growth, exploration, and expansion. They are constantly seeking to broaden their horizons, whether that means traveling to new places, meeting new people, or simply expanding their mind with new ideas. Their restless nature is fueled by the need to grow and learn. Staying in one place for too long, whether physically or intellectually, feels like stagnation to them. How can you navigate this trait? If you're involved with a Sagittarius, it's essential to embrace their need for novelty and adventure, rather than trying to tether them down with routine. Encourage their explorations and support their need for change. Traveling together, trying new activities, and engaging in intellectual conversations can help keep a Sagittarius engaged and excited about life. By offering new experiences and embracing their adventurous spirit, you'll build a deeper connection with them. 6. Sagittarius has a deep need for personal growth. Sagittarius is one of the most intellectually curious signs of the zodiac, always on the hunt for new knowledge and ways to improve themselves. Unlike other signs that might settle into comfortable routines, a Sagittarius is constantly seeking to expand their horizons, whether it's through travel, education, or self-reflection. This drive for self-improvement can make them seem restless, as they are never truly satisfied with where they are at any given time. Why does this happen? The root of Sagittarius's constant desire for growth lies in their ruling planet, Jupiter, the planet of expansion. Jupiter is the planet of higher knowledge, wisdom, and long-distance travel. It encourages Sagittarius to explore beyond the familiar, constantly pushing them to seek out new experiences and ideas. Their desire for personal growth is a reflection of their belief that life is an ongoing journey, one that requires them to constantly evolve. For Sagittarius, personal growth isn't just about acquiring knowledge for knowledge's sake. It's about becoming the best version of themselves, whether that means gaining a deeper understanding of the world or challenging their own beliefs. They are drawn to philosophy, spirituality, and new ways of thinking because these pursuits allow them to grow both mentally and emotionally. How can you work with this? If you're close to a Sagittarius, recognize their need for continuous self-improvement and support their journey. Encourage them to pursue their passions and ideas, even if they seem unconventional. Be patient with their constant search for growth and understand that it's part of their nature. Rather than being frustrated by their restless energy, embrace it. If you can keep up with their ever-evolving nature, you'll be able to share in their excitement and discoveries, strengthening your connection with them. 7. Sagittarius can be direct, often lacking tact. One of the most defining characteristics of Sagittarius is their bluntness. They are known for speaking their minds without a filter, often saying exactly what they think, no matter how it may affect others. While their honesty is refreshing, it can also come across as insensitive or even rude. This lack of tact is a hallmark of Sagittarius, and it's something that can make their interactions with others feel uncomfortable or even harsh. Why does this happen? Sagittarius values truth and transparency above all else. They believe that honesty is essential for meaningful relationships, and they see no reason to sugarcoat things. For them, being direct and truthful is more important than sparing someone's feelings. Their straightforward communication style is driven by their need for openness and authenticity in all aspects of their life. How can you work with this? If you're close to a Sagittarius, you need to accept their no-nonsense approach to communication. While it may feel blunt or even abrasive at times, their intention is rarely malicious. They simply want to share their thoughts and feelings honestly. One way to navigate this trait is to ask them to be more mindful of how they phrase things, but also recognize that their directness comes from a place of wanting clarity and honesty. If you can handle the bluntness and appreciate their transparency, you'll find that their straightforwardness is a refreshing change from people who hide behind politeness or ambiguity. Be ready for their honesty, and respond in kind. Sagittarius respects people who are equally open with them. 8. Sagittarius needs excitement to thrive. Life for a Sagittarius without excitement is like a plant without sunlight, they simply cannot thrive. This sign craves novelty and adventure, always seeking new experiences that bring them joy and fulfillment. For Sagittarius, a mundane, routine life is their worst nightmare. They need to feel the thrill of the unknown and constantly push the boundaries of what they know and experience. Why does this happen? As a fire sign ruled by Jupiter, Sagittarius has a natural enthusiasm and energy that drives them to constantly seek adventure. Jupiter's influence amplifies their need for expansion and exploration, making them eager to dive into new things, whether it's a new travel destination, a new hobby, or a new challenge. The more excitement Sagittarius can inject into their life, the more fulfilled they feel. This need for excitement can make them seem restless or flighty to others, as they are always seeking the next big thrill. Their desire to experience life to its fullest often leads them to take risks or try things that others might avoid. However, this love for excitement also makes them great companions for those who share their zest for life. How can you work with this? To keep up with a Sagittarius, you'll need to embrace adventure and spontaneity. If you're in a relationship with a Sagittarius, be open to trying new activities together and exploring unfamiliar places. Encourage them to share their passions and interests, and be willing to go along on their next adventure. At the same time, recognize that their need for excitement doesn't mean they're abandoning you or the relationship, it's simply part of who they are. By supporting their adventurous nature, you'll strengthen your bond and keep things fresh and exciting. The key is to be flexible and open-minded, ready to go wherever the journey may take you. 9. Sagittarius can be philosophical, seeking deeper meaning. Sagittarius has a deep need to understand the world around them and their place in it. This intellectual curiosity leads them to explore philosophy, spirituality, and other avenues that allow them to search for meaning in life. Their quest for deeper knowledge can make them seem wise beyond their years, and they often have a unique perspective on life that can challenge conventional thinking. Why does this happen? Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of higher learning and wisdom. Jupiter's influence drives them to seek meaning beyond the material world. They are drawn to ideas, beliefs, and systems that allow them to broaden their minds and find deeper understanding. Whether they are reading philosophy, meditating, or traveling to distant lands, Sagittarius is constantly seeking to expand their mental and spiritual boundaries. This search for meaning is part of what makes Sagittarius such a profound and reflective sign. They are always questioning the nature of existence, looking for patterns and connections that others may miss. Their curiosity often leads them to explore esoteric topics, and they enjoy diving into deep conversations about the mysteries of life. How can you work with this? If you're in a relationship with a Sagittarius or simply a close friend, it's important to engage with them on a deeper level. They love to explore philosophical ideas, and they will appreciate someone who is open-minded and willing to discuss the big questions of life. Whether it's a conversation about the meaning of life, the nature of the universe, or the purpose of human existence, Sagittarius thrives on intellectual stimulation. Be prepared for deep, thought-provoking discussions, and don't shy away from sharing your own insights. Sagittarius loves people who are just as intellectually curious as they are, so showing an interest in their ideas will help you connect on a more meaningful level. 10. Sagittarius has a natural charm but can be avoidant in relationships. Sagittarius is often regarded as charming, friendly, and full of life. Their vibrant energy and zest for life naturally draw people in, and they are often the life of the party. However, when it comes to close, committed relationships, Sagittarius can be somewhat avoidant. This is not because they don't value their partners, but because their need for freedom and autonomy can make them wary of being tied down. Why does this happen? Sagittarius's fear of commitment stems from their strong desire for independence. They enjoy having the freedom to pursue their interests, travel, and experience new things without feeling restricted by the obligations of a relationship. This desire for personal space can make them reluctant to settle into traditional relationship structures, even if they deeply care about someone. How can you work with this? If you're in a relationship with a Sagittarius, it's important to give them the space they need to be themselves. Don't try to control or limit their freedom, as this will only lead to frustration. Instead, show them that you respect their need for independence while still fostering a deep connection. Encourage them to pursue their passions and adventures, and be supportive of their personal growth. At the same time, understand that Sagittarius's reluctance to commit doesn't mean they don't value the relationship, it simply means they need time to feel comfortable enough to fully invest. Be patient and give them the freedom to come to their own conclusions about what they want from the relationship. 11. Sagittarius is constantly seeking new challenges. One of the key traits that defines a Sagittarius is their relentless drive to seek out new challenges. For them, life is a continuous journey of growth and discovery. They are never content with staying in their comfort zone. Instead, they thrive on tackling new obstacles, whether in their career, personal life, or hobbies. This desire for constant self-improvement makes them ambitious, but also creates a sense of restlessness that can sometimes be difficult for others to understand. Why does this happen? The desire for new challenges is rooted in the Sagittarius's need for expansion and growth, both mentally and physically. As a fire sign ruled by Jupiter, the planet of growth and opportunity, Sagittarius is always looking for the next big challenge to overcome. They are drawn to experiences that test their limits, expand their horizons, and help them evolve as individuals. Whether it's taking on a new project at work, traveling to an unfamiliar place, or learning a new skill, Sagittarius is always in search of something that pushes them to grow. How can you work with this? If you're close to a Sagittarius, support their desire to take on new challenges. Encourage them to pursue their passions and interests, even if they seem risky or unconventional. Let them know that you believe in their ability to succeed. At the same time, be understanding if they constantly switch gears or move on to something new. It's simply a part of who they are. If you can keep up with their thirst for challenges, you'll find that they're incredibly exciting and motivating to be around. 12. Sagittarius can be non-committal. As much as Sagittarius is known for their energy, optimism, and intellectual curiosity, they can also be frustratingly non-committal. This sign values their independence and personal freedom above all else, and when it comes to commitment, whether in relationships or career choices, they often hesitate. While they may form deep emotional connections, they're hesitant to fully settle down or give up their freedom for anyone or anything. Why does this happen? The fear of commitment stems from Sagittarius's natural inclination toward autonomy. Ruled by Jupiter, the planet of exploration, they are constantly seeking new experiences and adventures, and the thought of being tied down to one person, place, or thing can feel suffocating. This fear of confinement can make it difficult for Sagittarius to stay in long-term situations that they feel might limit their ability to roam freely. How can you work with this? If you're in a relationship with a Sagittarius, be patient and understanding. They value their independence and need space to pursue their passions. Don't pressure them into making a commitment. Instead, show them that you respect their need for freedom while still being a supportive and loving partner. Over time, Sagittarius may become more comfortable with commitment, especially if they feel like they're not losing their personal freedom in the process. The key is to provide them with the freedom to be themselves while nurturing the relationship in a way that allows them to feel secure. 13. Sagittarius loves deep, meaningful conversations. Sagittarius is not the type to engage in superficial chit-chat. They crave deep, thought-provoking conversations that explore philosophical ideas, the meaning of life, and the mysteries of the universe. A casual conversation about the weather or gossip won't hold their attention for long. They want to discuss topics that allow them to expand their minds and challenge their beliefs. Whether it's about travel, spirituality, or even the big questions about existence, Sagittarius is all in. Why does this happen? With their ruling planet being Jupiter, Sagittarius is driven by a desire to expand their knowledge and understanding of the world. They are inherently curious and interested in ideas that help them grow intellectually and spiritually. They're less interested in surface-level conversations and more drawn to discussions that engage their higher thinking. Sagittarius sees conversations as a way to connect on a deeper level, to explore new perspectives, and to learn from others. How can you work with this? If you're close to a Sagittarius, don't be afraid to dive into deep conversations. Whether you're talking about philosophy, science, or life's mysteries, Sagittarius will appreciate the intellectual stimulation. They're not interested in idle chatter, but if you engage them with meaningful discussions, you'll be able to form a strong and meaningful connection. Just be ready to discuss complex ideas and think outside the box with them. They will love that. 14. Sagittarius can be optimistic to the point of being unrealistic. Sagittarius is well known for their infectious optimism. They tend to view the world through rose-colored glasses and maintain an unshakable belief that things will work out in the end. This positive attitude can make them inspiring to be around, as their energy often motivates others to stay hopeful, even in difficult times. However, this optimism can sometimes border on unrealistic, as Sagittarius often overlooks the practical challenges of a situation and focuses purely on the possibilities. Why does this happen? This boundless optimism is a direct result of Jupiter's influence. Jupiter is the planet of abundance and growth, and it encourages Sagittarius to believe that anything is possible. They focus on the bigger picture and believe that challenges are merely stepping stones to greater success. This can make them seem overly idealistic or naive, as they often downplay the difficulties that may arise. While their optimism is one of their greatest strengths, it can sometimes lead them to overlook practical obstacles and take risks without fully considering the consequences. How can you work with this? If you're interacting with a Sagittarius, appreciate their optimism, but also help ground them when needed. Encourage them to take a practical approach to their dreams and aspirations. While their enthusiasm is contagious, it's important to help them stay realistic, especially if they're embarking on a big decision. They'll appreciate your support in making sure they're prepared for the road ahead. 15. Sagittarius can be impulsive and reckless. Sagittarius's impulsive nature can sometimes get them into trouble. Their desire for excitement and adventure often leads them to make spontaneous decisions without fully thinking things through. Whether it's a last-minute trip to an exotic destination, an impulsive career change, or an emotional decision in a relationship, Sagittarius tends to act first and think later. This can lead to a sense of chaos, as they may regret their actions after the fact, but in the moment, they are often swept up by the thrill of the adventure. Why does this happen? The impulsiveness of Sagittarius can be attributed to their connection with Jupiter, the planet of expansion and risk-taking. Jupiter encourages them to take chances and seek out new opportunities, often without considering the potential consequences. They are driven by a need for excitement and new experiences, and sometimes this leads them to act recklessly. While this spontaneity is what makes them exciting to be around, it can also cause issues if they don't think things through. How can you work with this? If you're close to a Sagittarius, it's important to understand that their impulsiveness isn't always malicious, it's simply part of their adventurous nature. However, if their decisions are affecting you or others, it's helpful to gently encourage them to consider the long-term consequences of their actions. It's also essential to understand that, even though their decisions may seem reckless, they are often just following their instinct for the next big adventure. 16. Sagittarius has a strong moral compass. Despite their impulsive and sometimes reckless behavior, Sagittarius has a very strong moral compass. They are deeply committed to their values and beliefs and will fight for what they think is right, even when it's unpopular or difficult. This sense of moral integrity is often what drives their adventurous spirit, as they seek out experiences that align with their beliefs and challenge societal norms. Why does this happen? Sagittarius is known for their philosophical and idealistic nature. They are constantly questioning the world around them and seeking to understand the deeper meaning behind life's events. This introspective nature leads them to develop a strong sense of what they believe to be right and wrong. Sagittarius is fiercely protective of their moral code and will not back down from standing up for what they believe, even if it means going against the grain. How can you work with this? If you're close to a Sagittarius, respect their values and principles. They may not always agree with you, but they will appreciate your honesty and integrity. If you share similar values, you'll form a deep and meaningful connection with them, as they value authenticity and truthfulness in relationships. However, if you disagree with them on a fundamental issue, it's essential to approach the conversation with respect and openness. Sagittarius values honest debate and enjoys discussing their beliefs with others, as long as it's done in a respectful and thoughtful manner. 17. Sagittarius can be overly honest and blunt. Sagittarius is known for their unwavering commitment to truth and honesty, which can sometimes come across as blunt or even harsh. They don't believe in sugarcoating things or hiding the truth to protect feelings. If they have something on their mind, they'll say it, no filters. While this directness can be refreshing and admirable in certain situations, it can also lead to misunderstandings or hurt feelings. The way they express themselves is often unvarnished and unapologetic, which can be jarring for people who prefer a more diplomatic approach. Why does this happen? At the core of Sagittarius's personality is a strong belief in honesty and transparency. They don't see the point in pretending or playing games. For them, being truthful is the best way to connect with others, and they see it as an act of respect. Because of their natural inclination towards straightforwardness, they often forget to consider how their words might impact others emotionally. The honesty they deliver is sometimes a double-edged sword, cutting through the surface to reveal raw truths, but not always wrapped in the most considerate manner. How can you work with this? If you're in a relationship or close friendship with a Sagittarius, you need to be prepared for their directness. It's essential to understand that they don't intend to be rude or disrespectful. They simply believe that the truth should never be hidden, even if it's uncomfortable. While their bluntness might sting at times, it's an opportunity for open, honest communication. To work well with a Sagittarius, try not to take their comments personally, and approach their honesty with an open mind. It's often their way of showing that they care, even if it's delivered in a way that feels a bit too raw. 18. Sagittarius enjoys being the center of attention. While Sagittarius is often seen as the adventurous, free-spirited type, they also have a natural flair for being the center of attention. They are charming, lively, and have a magnetic energy that naturally draws people in. Whether it's at a party, during a group conversation, or in social gatherings, a Sagittarius enjoys taking the spotlight. They are often the life of the party, sharing stories, making people laugh, and engaging others in a way that's fun and exciting. This need for attention comes from their desire to feel seen, appreciated, and heard, which is a direct reflection of their need to explore and experience life fully. Why does this happen? Sagittarius is a fire sign, and like most fire signs, they love to be noticed and admired. This sign thrives on positive attention and the admiration of others. Being in the spotlight helps them feel validated in their actions, making them feel like they're living life to its fullest. It also feeds into their natural need for self-expression. They are dynamic, expressive individuals, and they want to share their energy and experiences with others. Their optimism and confidence naturally attract people, which leads to them becoming the focal point of attention in social situations. How can you work with this? If you're around a Sagittarius, it's essential to allow them to express themselves and enjoy the attention they naturally draw. Don't be surprised if they take over a conversation or jump into the middle of a group activity. They are not trying to dominate, it's simply part of their nature to engage and energize the room. As a friend, partner, or coworker, embrace their presence and enjoy the fun they bring. If you find their need for attention overwhelming at times, gently remind them to share the spotlight and give others the chance to shine, but do so in a way that doesn't diminish their vibrant energy. Sagittarius will appreciate your honesty if delivered with respect. Conclusion: Sagittarius is undoubtedly one of the most fascinating and dynamic signs of the zodiac. With their ever-changing moods, unfiltered honesty, and unquenchable thirst for adventure, they keep life exciting and unpredictable. Their love for freedom, thirst for knowledge, and desire to experience everything that life has to offer make them truly unique. While their impulsiveness, bluntness, and need for attention can sometimes lead to misunderstandings, these qualities are what make them so authentic and compelling. Understanding Sagittarius means recognizing their deep need for independence, their desire for personal growth, and their hunger for new experiences. If you can embrace their quirks, respect their need for freedom, and engage with them on a deep level, you'll find yourself on a thrilling journey filled with laughter, wisdom, and endless opportunities for growth. So, whether you are a Sagittarius or someone lucky enough to know one, remember that their complexity and unpredictability are part of their charm. Their journey through life is an ever-evolving adventure, one that they want to share with those who are willing to explore alongside them. And in the end, isn't that what life is all about? Exploring, learning, and growing together. If you've enjoyed learning more about Sagittarius, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life, and click the notification bell to stay updated on our next deep dive into the fascinating world of astrology. Thanks for watching, and may your journey be filled with light and adventure, just like a Sagittarius.